Welcome to the AI Brief. This is our deep dive number 326, where we cut straight through the noise to what really matters in artificial intelligence.
Today we are definitely cutting through it. We've got massive investment moves, a pretty wild quantum computing breakthrough, and the messy, chaotic reality of the robotics race.
And when you say messy, you mean it. We're talking about one robot that took a very, very public faceplant.
We are. So our mission today is clarity. We're looking at 4 key areas. First, AI market spending. Second, that quantum breakthrough.
Third, the hits and misses in robotics. And finally, we're bringing it all home with some practical, specialized tools for you, especially if you're a content professional.
So let's jump right into the money trail. The biggest financial headline this week came from a place you might not expect: Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
Right. With all this talk about a potential AI bubble, they go and make this huge commitment.
A massive commitment. They bought 17.8 million shares of Alphabet. That's a $4.3 billion bet, it seems. Well, it seems almost counterintuitive.
It does.
Yeah.
But when you really unpack the strategy, it starts to make perfect sense. Buffett is famous for betting on what he calls a durable competitive advantage, a moat.
And that's what this is. He's not just betting on search. He's betting on infrastructure dominance.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, think about it. Alphabet is relentlessly spending hundreds of billions of dollars every single year on AI infrastructure. Data centers, custom chips, you name it.
That's a barrier to entry that basically no one else can cross.
Exactly. Smaller competitors simply cannot overcome that level of capital expenditure. So Berkshire sees the spending not as a risk, but as the very foundation for long-term sustainable profit. They see Alphabet almost like a utility for the entire AI world.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just Alphabet, is it?
Not at all. Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, they're all in on this spending spree. We're talking about a Morgan Stanley estimate of up to $3 trillion on data centers and infrastructure by 2028.
$3 trillion. That's staggering.
It just shows that owning the physical layer of this new economy is the game. And Berkshire's move signals that the safest long-term bets are on the companies that control that core infrastructure. They're investing in the foundation everyone else has to build on.
Speaking of foundations, let's pivot from the market to the actual architecture of computing. This is where it gets really interesting because we're hitting the theoretical limits of our current tech. We're in the post-Moore era.
We are, and that's why this announcement from Microcloud Hologram Inc. is so significant. They've just launched a new technology based on what's called a quantum convolutional neural network, or QCNN.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Break that down for us. What is it?
So at its core, it uses a hybrid approach, part quantum, part classical computing. Imagine you have a massive deep learning problem, like, say, analyzing millions of medical images. A classical computer can really start to bottleneck on that.
It just gets overwhelmed by the sheer amount of data and processing needed.
Precisely. So instead of just brute force processing, the QCNN offers a kind of quantum shortcut. You mentioned features like a new quantum perceptron and an optimized entanglement layer.
I did. And for someone listening who isn't a physicist, what does that entanglement layer actually do to speed things up?
That's the key question. The entanglement layer is really where the quantum magic happens. In traditional computing, everything is pretty linear, one step after another.
Right.
Entanglement allows the quantum part of the system to see correlations across huge, complex data sets all at once. It's like an incredibly powerful data compressor and pattern finder all in one. It improves efficiency without needing, an exponential amount of classical power.
There's a powerful idea. So what's the big picture here? What does this mean for the tech landscape?
It means we might have a way to address those looming bottlenecks in deep learning. The early results show this QCNN has accuracy that's comparable to the classical versions, but with a dramatically lower computational cost.
So this isn't just a small improvement.
No, this is a potential new pathway for AI. It's critical for fields like computer vision and natural language processing, where our current systems are really starting to hit a wall.
Okay, let's shift from the theoretical to the very real world and sometimes very messy world of robotics. Because while the physics is moving fast, physical deployment can still go wrong.
Oh, it can. And we have to start with the most viral robot story of the week, which came out of Russia.
The debut from the startup Adel.
Yes, their much-hyped humanoid robot. This was meant to be a huge statement. The robot walks out on stage to the theme from Rocky.
Iconic.
It waves to the crowd, and then it just immediately faceplants, breaks into pieces right there on stage.
Ouch. I mean, you can't write it. A failure that spectacular, it really exposes how much ground Russia still has to cover in this race.
It's a stark contrast to what we're seeing elsewhere. For example, the progress from Shenzhen-based mind and robotics in China.
What have they been showing?
They just released new footage of their autonomous AI system on a Unitree G1 humanoid. And the difference is, well, it's night and day.
What was it doing?
It was doing household tasks, watering plants, carrying packages, vacuuming the floor, and it was doing it all with this remarkable fluidity. It really suggests that true autonomy in messy, real-world spaces is getting much, much closer.
And that progress is turning into big money. Another Chinese firm, UB Tech, has secured over $112 million in orders just this year.
That's right, for their Walker S2 industrial humanoid. And those are mostly going into Chinese factories. That is a huge industrial commitment.
But that success also came with some controversy, didn't it?
It did. When Yugi Tech put out a video showing this whole fleet of robots moving in sync, the CEO of Figure AI, Brett Adcock, he publicly accused them of using CGI.
A pretty serious claim.
A very serious claim, and one that's now being furiously debated all over social media. It just goes to show how competitive this space is. They're fighting for public trust just as hard as they're fighting for technical dominance.
So let's bring all this down to the most practical level. If you're a professional listening to this, maybe an SEO content writer, how are these massive advancements actually changing your day-to-day?
This is such a crucial point, because the sheer number of new tools can feel overwhelming. But this is where the core technology we've been talking about really restructures how you work. We've pulled together a stack of tools that redefine the workflow.
Okay, let's run through them. We can start with the basics, the writing and research stack. You're still using something like Google Docs, of course.
Of course, but its integration with AI now makes real-time collaboration and suggestions just exponentially more powerful than they used to be.
And for the deep research.
For that, an AI like Claude really stands out. It's often better than competitors at handling really nuanced or dense topics. It helps you structure those deep dive articles much more efficiently. And then for visuals.
You need images.
Right. And a tool like Whisk AI just eliminates the whole headache of searching for stock photos. It creates custom, relevant images for you instantly.
Okay, so you've written the content, you have the images. Now you need to optimize it.
And that's where SEMrush is still the heavyweight champ. For advanced keyword research, for strategic SEO, you just need that data layer to make sure what you've created actually gets seen.
Then you have the business side of things, managing clients, getting paid.
Exactly. For that, MailSuite is great for streamlining and tracking client emails. And if you're working with clients globally, a service like Renest simplifies those cross-border payments. It solves a huge logistical headache.
So this whole stack, it proves that AI isn't really replacing the professional. It's giving them tools to operate at a much higher, much faster level.
It's intelligence augmentation, not replacement. So zooming out, we've covered this incredible economic commitment to AI infrastructure from giants like Alphabet.
Which is running up against the fundamental limits of classical computing, which in turn is inspiring these revolutionary breakthroughs like the QCNN.
It's this profound collision of economics and physics happening in real time.
It really is. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. If this hybrid quantum convolutional neural network technology is truly the blueprint for the post-Moore era of computing, how quickly will those tech giants, the very ones Berkshire Hathaway just bet billions on, have to pivot their entire colossal classical infrastructure to stay relevant in this quantum future?
That is the trillion-dollar